right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power in the prejudging for the 2024 Prague Pro. Just wrapped up, and it really delivered. If you guys watched the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight last night, and you were really disappointed by what you saw, this show made up for it. All the guys that we've been talking about all week, the past 2 weeks in the build-up to the show, they brought it. Horse MD, Chris Bumstead, who looked just unbelievably good. Sean Clarita looked better than the Olympia. Martin Fitzwater brought it. Everybody was on here tonight. And just to be clear, this is kind of a unique show because this is a 2-day show. And I don't even know what other shows still do this besides the Olympia. So prejudging is today, but the finals for open bodybuilding will be tomorrow night, Sunday. So it's a 2-day show, which I kind of like because a lot could change between today's prejudging and tomorrow's finals. I like this better than some of the shows where prejudging and finals are just like an hour apart because it's like, what's the difference? But everything about this show, I think, really delivered. The live stream was good. It was only $15, by the way, which pretty impressive. But I think, obviously, what a lot of you guys want to hear about is Chris Bumstead. That's been really the focus of this show. Chris Bumstead's open bodybuilding debut. How did he look? And I got to be honest with you guys. Chris really blew me away. How did Chris look in an open lineup? He looked incredible. He looked big. He looked full, but he was peeled to the bone. This was a great look for Chris. But yo, guys, Chris Bumstead, in the center of that first call out, the entire time, unmoved, but they did move Martin and Sean Clarita around Chris. It might actually be happening, guys. Chris might actually win this show. Chris Bumstead, dead center of the first call-out the entire time. That call-out including Christian Wolski, Sean Clarita, Martin Fitzwater, Horse MD, Chris Bumstead, and Matthias Holwick. Guys, this is like an unreal situation. Chris Bumstead, with 4 weeks to prepare from the Olympia to now for his open debut, literally almost no time to fully transition into open bodybuilding, is in a position right now to potentially win this show. I would say him and Martin are definitely top 2. And I think the biggest difference between the two of them in favor of Martin is the back poses. And this is something I talked about during the week this week. Is Martin has a crazy dense back, and I'd say Chris's back is more wide and detail is his strong suit. And I think Martin looked really good here. I don't know if I would say he looked better than the Olympia, though. I don't know if this is the all-time best Martin that we've ever seen, but Chris just really blew my mind. Peeled to the bone. He does not look small next to these guys. Not at all. He looks full. He looks big. Him and Hani Rambod absolutely nailed it. Nailed it. And like I said, if you were watching that Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight last night, I know everybody was like super disappointed afterwards. It just really didn't deliver. If you're a bodybuilding fan, Chris Bumstead is making up for that right now. He 100%, him and Hani, delivered on this show. Without a doubt. Even if Chris doesn't win this, it's a huge win for Chris if he's top 2 here, which it looks like he is. And that's the interesting part about this being a 2-day show. Like I said, a lot could change in 24 hours. Finals isn't until tomorrow. So they might not look the same tomorrow. In fact, they most likely won't look the same tomorrow. But right now, Chris looks to me to be in a solid top 2 spot. And I would bet that when Chris walked off stage here, him and Hani Rambod were extremely, extremely happy with what they presented at this show. Because we legitimately did not know what to expect with Chris Bumstead competing in an open show. We had no idea how that would look. But it's looking nothing short of amazing for a guy that had 4 weeks, and we don't even know if he used those full 4 weeks, to make the transition to open bodybuilding. If Chris wins this show, I hope it's in the back of his mind and in the back of Hani's mind that they've got to do the Open Olympia in 2025 if Chris qualifies here, because this is impressive, guys. This is really impressive. If Chris is given a whole year from now to next year's Olympia to actually put on more muscle for open bodybuilding, because realistically he probably put on almost none for this transition, but given a whole year to fill out his frame more unrestricted by a weight limit, if Chris beats a top 4 Olympian in Martin Fitzwater at this show, man, I hope he does open next year. I really hope he does it just one time. Then he can retire forever, fine, but man, we cannot leave this door unexplored and unopened, just constantly wondering what if Chris had done it. If Chris wins this show, man, I really, really hope he does one Open Olympia, because, man, this is incredible. So they brought out that same first call-out again towards the end of prejudging, and again, for a second time, Chris Bumstead is dead center with Martin. I really think that it's between Chris and Martin at this point, and I think it's close. And guys, honestly, as I'm watching this, Chris might win this show. He really might. The detail, the conditioning, the shape, a fuller version of Chris Bumstead from Classic Physique. Chris is showing us here why he is that guy. And I think you can even see on Martin's face in this call-out, he knows he's not running away with it. I still feel like Martin is probably favored here, but it's close. I don't think this is going to be the runaway victory that Martin was planning on, and it might not even be a Martin victory. I believe my prediction was Martin winning, Chris in second, and Sean in third. I still think that will be your top 3, but 1 and 2 could change. Chris might win this show. But again, I'm imagining, because it is a 2-day show, I'm imagining Martin will probably come in tighter for the finals and close that gap a little bit. I don't know how much tighter Chris could come in. He looks really good. I mean, really, really sharp. Him and Hani really nailed this look. And, you know, I thought it was interesting in the beginning of this show, they were kind of showing a slideshow presentation of the past winners of the Prague Pro. And it really reminded me, like, this is kind of a career-defining show. Some of their past winners, Kai Green, Dennis Wolf, William Bonac, Samson Dowda, Dexter Jackson, and Michael Crizzo. All these guys, some of the greatest open bodybuilders in modern history. And we might see Chris Bumstead's name added to that list. You know what? Honestly, I'm changing my prediction. I think Chris is going to win this. I've got Chris winning prejudging. I do think Martin will probably come back better and tighter tomorrow, but I think Chris won prejudging. Watching this Final Four comparison, and by the way, the guy that you guys probably don't recognize that's in the top 4, his name is Matthias Holweck, and he's looking at 4th place. I believe that Clarita will be 3rd. It's between him and Clarita, 3rd and 4th. And I do believe it's between Martin and Chris for 1 and 2. They just kind of move these. They gave everybody a chance in the center of this top 4 call-out. But they ended it with Martin and Chris in the center. I really believe that's your top 2. And honestly, I think Chris is taking this. Now, we'll have to wait and see till tomorrow because, again, a lot can change in 24 hours with these guys' physiques. But right now, I think Chris just shocked the bodybuilding world and is looking at a very high probability of winning his open bodybuilding debut with 4 weeks to transition from classic physique at the Olympia. A show that Chris said he was doing for fun, just a bucket list item. Minimal time to prepare against the top 4 open bodybuilding Olympian in Martin Fitzwater, and not to mention a former 212 Mr. Olympia champion. Chris is looking like the winner here. I'm telling you, man, if Chris wins this, there's no way him and Hani Rambod aren't thinking, welp, I think we got to postpone that retirement. We've all been wondering what it would look like to see Chris in open, and we just found out Chris is the man. I love this. I absolutely love this. Very curious to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. This is very, very exciting, and I cannot wait to see what happens tomorrow. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Chris or Martin, or potentially somebody else. Who do you guys have winning? Let me know down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Click the bell notification icon if you haven't already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.